You woke up this morning and before your feet even touched the floor, your mind was already calculating how much is in the account, what bills are due, whether there will be enough. You've done this so many times it feels automatic. It feels like just the way life is. But what if I told you that in those first waking moments, you were actually programming your entire day for scarcity? What if those worried calculations aren't responding to your reality, they're creating it? Right now, as you listen to these words, there's a number in your bank account. I want you to think about that number. Not the number you wish was there. Not the number you're working toward. The actual number. Notice what happens in your body. Does your stomach clench? Does your jaw tighten? Does a heaviness settle in your chest? That physical response, that contraction you feel, is far more important than you realize. Because that feeling, repeated thousands of times over years and decades, has shaped your entire financial existence. You created that number. I know that's not what you want to hear. You want to blame the economy. You want to blame your boss. You want to blame your parents who never taught you about money, or your industry that doesn't pay enough, or the unfair system that keeps people like you from getting ahead. But the uncomfortable truth is this: you have been the architect of your financial life all along. Not consciously, not intentionally, but through a mechanism so hidden, so automatic, you've never once suspected it was operating. Here's what's extraordinary about this truth. If you created your current financial reality, you can create a different one. If the power was yours all along, even when you were using it against yourself, then the power is still yours now, and you can learn to use it deliberately. There's a question I want you to sit with tonight. A question that changed my life and has changed the lives of countless others who were willing to truly consider it. The question is this: what if everything you've believed about money has been completely backwards? What if the struggling you've been doing has actually been pushing money away? What if the worry has been instructing the universe to give you more things to worry about? What if your very effort to attract abundance has been contaminated by a feeling of lack that guarantees you'll keep experiencing lack? You've felt this, haven't you? You've worked hard, harder than many people who have more than you. You've tried to do everything right. You've read the books, maybe attended the seminars, perhaps even made the vision boards. And still, the financial freedom you seek remains just out of reach, always coming, never quite arriving. Tonight, I want to show you why. And more importantly, I want to show you what to do about it. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stopped to truly examine what money actually is? You've spent your entire life pursuing it, worrying about it, sacrificing for it, but have you ever looked directly at the thing itself? Money is energy. That's all it is. It's a symbol that humans invented to facilitate exchange. A $100 bill is paper with ink on it. Its power exists only because we collectively agree it has power. Remove that agreement, and it's worthless material. Now, here's why this matters to you. Energy flows. That's what energy does. It moves toward openness and retreats from blockage. It circulates freely when there's nothing obstructing it. Think about water. Think about electricity. Think about love. They all follow the same principle. Flow toward receptivity, away from resistance. Money follows this same law. It flows toward those who are open to receiving it and away from those who are blocked. And here's the part that will change everything for you. The blockage is never outside you. Never. It's not the economy. It's not your industry. It's not your education or your age or where you live. The blockage exists entirely within your own consciousness. You've been looking in the wrong direction your entire life. You've been trying to fix external circumstances while the real obstruction has been internal all along. Think about your childhood for a moment. Think about the phrases you heard repeated over and over in your household. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. Rich people are greedy. You have to work hard just to get by. People like us don't get ahead. You heard these phrases so many times, they seeped into your subconscious mind. They became part of your operating system. They're running right now beneath your awareness, influencing every financial decision you make, every opportunity you notice or overlook, every risk you take or avoid. You didn't choose these beliefs. They were installed in you before you were old enough to question them. But you've been living by them ever since. and your financial life has been a perfect reflection of them. Have you noticed how your money situation seems to have a ceiling? Have you noticed how whenever you start to get ahead, something happens to pull you back? An unexpected expense, a job loss, an investment that doesn't work out. It's as if there's an invisible barrier you keep hitting. That barrier is real, but it's not out there in the world. It's in your own mind. It's the beliefs you absorbed before you could even read. I want to tell you about a man I'll call Thomas. You might recognize yourself in his story. Thomas worked as an accountant for 30 years. He was excellent at his job, meticulous, responsible, completely reliable. His clients trusted him with their most sensitive financial information. His colleagues respected him. His performance reviews were consistently outstanding. And for 30 years, Thomas was quietly, persistently broke. Not homeless, not destitute, but always just enough and never more. Always swimming against a current he couldn't see. Always watching others, people with less talent, less dedication, less integrity, somehow pull ahead while he stayed stuck in exactly the same place. Then Thomas lost his job at 55. The company downsized. 3 decades of loyalty, and he was handed a severance check and shown the door. Something unexpected happened in that moment of crisis. Instead of panicking, Thomas got curious. For the first time in his life, he started examining his own mind. He started asking questions he'd never thought to ask. What Thomas discovered changed everything. His entire adult life, he had been carrying an unconscious belief inherited from his father, who inherited it from his father: good people don't have too much money. Wanting more than you need is greedy. Wealth corrupts. Thomas would never have said this out loud. If you'd asked him directly, he would have denied it completely. But the belief was running anyway, beneath his awareness, sabotaging every opportunity that ever came his way, every promotion he didn't get, every investment he hesitated on until it was too late, every raise he didn't ask for because the timing never felt quite right. Something inside him was constantly pumping the brakes, whispering in a voice too quiet to consciously hear. That's not for people like you. Stay where you belong. When Thomas finally saw this belief clearly, when he dragged it out of the shadows and looked at it directly, something remarkable happened. The belief began to dissolve. It couldn't survive being seen. Within 18 months, Thomas had built a consulting practice that generated more income than any 5 years of his previous career combined. What changed? Not the economy, not the job market, not Thomas's skills or intelligence. Thomas changed. His consciousness changed. His beliefs changed. And when the way he looked at things changed, the things he looked at changed. What beliefs are you carrying right now that you've never examined? What invisible programs are running your financial life without your knowledge or consent? I want you to pause and notice what's happening inside you at this moment. Is there resistance arising? Defensiveness? A voice insisting this doesn't apply to you? That resistance is important information. It's pointing directly at something that needs your attention. Don't push it away. Get curious about what it might be protecting. Here's what you need to understand about manifesting money, and this is the key that unlocks everything. Manifesting money has almost nothing to do with money. Let that land. Your ability to manifest financial abundance has almost nothing to do with money itself. It has everything to do with how you see yourself, with what you believe you deserve, with the relationship between your inner world of thoughts and feelings and your outer world of circumstances and experiences. You've been trying to change your outer world while your inner world remained the same. It doesn't work. It can never work. The outer is always a reflection of the inner. Always. Without exception. There's a part of you, the ego, the small self, the frightened part that believes it's separate from everything and everyone else, that constantly whispers messages of scarcity. There isn't enough. You have to compete. You have to protect what you have. You have to get your share before someone else takes it. This voice has been running your financial life. And the consciousness of scarcity creates more scarcity, no matter how much money passes through your hands. You could win the lottery tomorrow, and that voice would still find things to worry about. You could double your income and still feel like it's not enough. Because the problem was never the amount. The problem was the consciousness. But there's another voice within you. your higher self, the infinite, eternal part of you that's connected to the source of all creation. This voice knows something completely different. It knows you live in an abundant universe. It knows there is more than enough for everyone. It knows that when you align with the energy of giving, gratitude, and trust, abundance flows to you as naturally as rivers flow to the sea. Which voice have you been listening to? Which voice makes your decisions about money? Which voice do you believe? Here's a truth I need you to absorb, not just intellectually, but with your entire being. You cannot receive what you don't believe you're worthy of receiving. If somewhere in your consciousness, perhaps buried so deep you barely know it's there, you believe you don't deserve abundance, no amount of hard work will bring it to you permanently. If you believe that wanting money is somehow spiritually inferior, that good people shouldn't care about material wealth, you will push money away with one hand while reaching for it with the other. If you believe your past mistakes have disqualified you, that you've done things that make you permanently unworthy, you will sabotage every opportunity that appears. Your worthiness is not something you earn. It's not a prize at the end of some long road of self-improvement. Your worthiness is your birthright. It was given to you the moment you came into existence, and nothing you have ever done or failed to do has diminished it by even 1 degree. You are an expression of the divine. The same intelligence that formed galaxies, that causes flowers to bloom, that beats your heart 60 times a minute, without any effort from you. That intelligence is expressing through you right now. You are not separate from it. You are it, individualized into this particular form. And that intelligence knows nothing of scarcity. It creates stars without counting cost. It produces blades of grass beyond numbering. It pours itself out in endless creativity that never depletes. When you truly recognize what you are, an infinite spiritual being, temporarily expressing through this human form, the question of whether you deserve money becomes absurd. Everything in nature receives what it needs. The bird doesn't fill out applications for its food. The flower doesn't prove its credentials before blooming. They simply align with the natural flow of abundance, and abundance comes. Why would it be different for you? You are part of nature. You are part of this abundant universe. The only thing blocking your reception is your own belief that you're somehow excluded from the generosity that supports all other forms of life. Here's what changes everything. Manifesting money isn't about getting something you don't have. It's about becoming aware of what has always been available. It's about removing the blocks in your own consciousness that have kept you from receiving what's been surrounding you all along. Imagine you're standing in a room filled with beautiful music. An orchestra plays a magnificent symphony, but you're wearing thick earplugs that block all sound. The music is playing, it never stops, but you can't hear it. You stand in silence, feeling empty, wondering why beauty seems to flow to everyone except you. Manifesting abundance isn't about creating the music. The music already exists. It's already playing. Manifesting abundance is about removing your earplugs. What are your earplugs made of? Your limiting beliefs. The stories you've repeated so often they feel like facts. The fears you inherited from your parents. The cultural conditioning that says you must struggle, that wanting more is greedy, that spiritual people shouldn't concern themselves with material things. What stories do you tell yourself about money? What phrases automatically run through your mind when you think about your financial situation? Are they phrases of possibility and openness? Or phrases of limitation and fear? Your freedom depends entirely on your honesty in answering this question. I met a woman after giving a lecture once. Frustration was written across her face before she spoke a word. Her shoulders were tight. Her jaw clenched. She said, "I've been trying to manifest abundance for years. I visualize every morning. I write affirmations. I say prayers. I've read every book. Nothing works." I asked her one question: what do you actually feel when you think about money? Her face changed. Something raw and unguarded surfaced. She said quietly, "Fear. Constant anxiety. Like no matter what I do, it's never going to be enough." There it was. She was doing all the techniques perfectly. But underneath all her visualizing and affirming, her dominant feeling was fear. Her fundamental state was scarcity. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It doesn't respond to your visualizations or affirmations or vision boards. The universe responds to your vibration, to what you actually feel, to your state of being. You can affirm abundance all day long, but if you feel scarcity in your body, you'll manifest scarcity. You can visualize wealth in vivid detail, but if you feel unworthy at your core, you'll manifest experiences that confirm your unworthiness. The outer world is a perfect mirror of your inner state, and you cannot fool a mirror. So here's what you do. Here's the practice that will change everything if you actually commit to it. Every morning, before you check your phone, before you look at your bank balance, before you engage with the external world in any way, spend 5 minutes in complete stillness. Just 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes. During those 5 minutes, do one thing. Cultivate the genuine feeling of abundance in your body. Not the thought of abundance, the feeling. This is where most people go wrong. They try to think their way into prosperity. They try to convince themselves intellectually that abundance is coming. But thoughts alone don't create reality. Feelings do. States of being do. What does abundance actually feel like in your body? Where do you experience it? For some people, it's warmth spreading through the chest. For others, it's a sense of expansion and spaciousness. For others, it's deep relaxation, a releasing of tension they didn't even know they were carrying. Find that feeling. Access it any way you can, through memory, through imagination, through focusing on what you already have to be grateful for. Then rest in that feeling. Let it expand. Let it fill your entire body. Let it become your dominant state before you engage with anything external. You might be thinking, but I can't feel abundant when I'm looking at bills I can't pay. I can't feel wealthy when my account is nearly empty. This is precisely the shift you must make if you want your life to change. You've been waiting for your circumstances to improve before you allow yourself to feel good. You've been thinking, once I have more money, then I'll feel abundant. Once my debts are paid, then I'll relax. But this approach is completely backwards. It tries to change the reflection in the mirror without changing what stands in front of it. The feeling must come first. Your inner state must shift first. Then, and only then, do your outer circumstances begin to rearrange themselves to match. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. This isn't a clever saying. It's the fundamental law of how reality works. Your consciousness creates your experience. Change your consciousness, and your experience must transform. Your habitual thoughts about money are not innocent commentary. They're commands you're giving to the universe every moment of every day. When you think, I'll never have enough, you're not just describing your situation, you're creating it. You're placing an order that the universe will faithfully fulfill. When you think money is so hard to come by, you're not observing reality, you're generating it. The universe doesn't judge your orders. It doesn't say, that's a foolish request, let me give you something better. It simply responds. It says yes to whatever you're broadcasting and delivers accordingly. So you must become the vigilant observer of your own thoughts. Watch what arises when you pay a bill. Watch what you think when you see someone driving an expensive car. Watch the assumptions and judgments and fears that run through your mind automatically. When you catch a thought of lack, don't fight it. Resistance only strengthens what you resist. Simply replace it with a thought that serves you. Instead of, I can't afford that, try, how might I afford that? Instead of, there's never enough, try, there's always enough, and more is on its way. Instead of, I'm not good with money, try, I'm learning to receive and manage abundance. These aren't lies you're telling yourself. They're new choices, new commands, new signals. You're broadcasting to a universe that's always listening. The words you speak to yourself become the house you live in. Choose them with the same care you choose the materials for your home. Let me tell you what happened to Margaret, the woman I mentioned at the very beginning. 6 months after that evening at her kitchen table, her external circumstances hadn't changed much. Same job, same bills, bank account, not dramatically different. But Margaret was profoundly different. She had stopped worrying. Not because her circumstances gave her permission, they hadn't, but because she'd made an internal shift that didn't require external permission. She finally understood that she was not her circumstances. She was not her bank balance. She was not her job title or her debt. She was an infinite being temporarily expressing through this particular human form. And from that recognition, abundance wasn't something to chase. It was something she already was. Her circumstances simply hadn't caught up yet. Within a year, Margaret started the consulting practice she'd dreamed about for decades, but had been too afraid to attempt. The fear had dissolved. It had nothing left to feed on. Within 2 years, she'd left her corporate job. Her income had tripled. She was doing work she loved. But here's what she told me. The money wasn't even the most important part. The real transformation was that she was free. Free from the constant anxiety that had been her companion for decades. Free from the endless mental calculations. Free from the prison she'd built in her own mind with her own beliefs and maintained with her own thoughts day after day for her entire adult life. That prison was never locked from outside. The door had been open the entire time. She just didn't know it. That same freedom is available to you right now. Not someday when your circumstances improve. Now. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. If you are someone who believes in scarcity at your core, you will experience scarcity no matter what you do. If you are someone who feels fundamentally unworthy, you will push abundance away even as you reach for it. The universe will keep offering and you will keep refusing without even knowing you're doing it. But if you become someone who genuinely knows their connection to infinite source, who truly feels worthy of receiving, who deeply trusts the abundant nature of existence, then abundance must flow to you. It has no choice. Its law as reliable as gravity. Your work is not to chase money. Your work is to transform yourself, to examine every belief that contradicts your natural state of abundance, to remove the earplugs so you can finally hear the music that's been playing all along, to become the person for whom wealth is simply natural, an inevitable expression of who you are. What I've shared with you tonight is not theory. It's not philosophy, disconnected from real life. This is how reality actually works. This is the mechanism by which your entire financial existence has been created, and this is the mechanism by which it will continue to unfold. The only question is whether you'll remain unconscious to this process or become an active, deliberate participant in it. Most people will hear these words and feel inspired for a few hours, maybe a few days. Then they'll return to their old patterns. Not because this truth doesn't work, but because transformation requires consistency. It requires choosing the new way again and again until it becomes who you are. Those 5 minutes of morning stillness, this is not optional if you want real change. This is the foundation. Without it, you're rearranging furniture in a burning house. Those 5 minutes are where you rewire decades of conditioning. Those 5 minutes are where you remember who you actually are. You didn't find this message by accident. There are no accidents in a universe governed by law. You were drawn to these words because some part of you, the deepest, wisest part, knew you were ready. Ready to stop struggling. Ready to align with the flow of abundance that has been waiting for you all along. Tonight, before you sleep, sit quietly. Place your hand on your heart. Feel it beating, that miracle requiring nothing from you. And say these words. I am worthy of abundance. Not because of what I've done or achieved, but because I am an expression of the divine, and abundance is my birthright, I open myself to receive it now. Feel those words. Let them settle into your cells. Tomorrow, begin again. 5 minutes of stillness. The feeling of abundance before anything else. Watching your thoughts. Replacing lack with plenty. Trusting completely that the same intelligence which created the universe knows exactly how to bring abundance into your life. Your only job is to stop blocking it. Your only job is to get out of your own way. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. The abundance you seek is not somewhere out there. It's here, now, within you, around you. It has always been here, waiting to be recognized. Open your eyes to it. Open your heart to it. Remove whatever blocks you're seeing. The music is playing. It has always been playing. It's time to remove the earplugs. And I want you to carry something with you as you leave this conversation tonight, a knowing, a certainty that settles deep in your bones and cannot be shaken by external circumstances. The knowing is this: you are not broken. You have never been broken. There is nothing wrong with you that needs to be fixed before abundance can flow into your life. You are whole. You are complete. You are already everything you need to be. The only thing that has ever stood between you and the financial freedom you desire is a collection of thoughts. That's all. Just thoughts. Thoughts you didn't choose. Thoughts that were handed to you before you could evaluate them. Thoughts you've been thinking so long they feel like truth. But they are not truth. They are habits. And habits can be changed. Starting tonight, you have the awareness to change them. Starting tonight, you have the tools. Starting tonight, you have the understanding that has eluded you perhaps your entire life. What you do with this awareness is up to you. No one can walk this path for you. No one can do the inner work on your behalf. But the path is clear now. The way forward is illuminated. Every morning when you wake, you have a choice. You can reach for your phone and immediately begin consuming the world's fears and anxieties. Or you can place your hand on your heart, close your eyes, and spend 5 minutes remembering who you really are. One choice leads to more of what you've always experienced. The other choice leads somewhere new. The universe is infinitely patient. It will wait for you as long as necessary. But your life is not infinite in this form. Your time here is precious and limited. How much longer will you wait to claim what has always been yours? The door to your prison stands open. It has always been open. Walk through it. I send you the green light.